Has invaded Bridgestone Arena. The 3C Kentucky Wildcats taking the floor for the first time and doing it against one of the hottest teams in all of college basketball. Vanderbilt, the hometown team, has won 9 of 10. Moments ago, Texas A&M finished off Arkansas in our third quarterfinal. Wade Taylor had 18 points, 16 of them in the second half. Henry Coleman had a double-double, and A&M erased a 13-point halftime deficit for the win. They wait the winner. This one, Alabama and Mizzou, will get things started on ESPN tomorrow, 1 Eastern, noon Central. But first, this. Tom Hart, Dane Bradshaw, Alyssa Lang is right over there underneath the basket. What a weird season it's been for Kentucky, where, Dane, you know, in the Bluegrass, the only expectation is national championships. And after a first-round exit in last year's tournament and some stumbles early in this season, everybody thought the sky was falling.
There was some panic mode, and rightfully so. But instead of focusing on what this team isn't, let's focus on what they are. And they have proven to stick together as a group, even when adversity, and they minimize the noise inside the locker room. So impressed. When they lost that game at home to South Carolina, I never thought they'd be a double bye in the SEC tournament or a lock for the NCAA tournament. But here they are, Nashville, sold out Bridgestone Arena, and it's looking like the Kentucky Invitation all over again.
There have been some emotional ups and downs with this Kentucky team, and for more on that, we say good evening to Alyssa.
You guys talk about that adversity, and Kentucky players will tell you that's the best thing that could have happened to them all season long. I talked to Jacob Toppin at shoot-around this week. He said that not only the adversity on the court, but off the court was what made them stronger. They were forced to peel the curtain back, get to know each other as a man, get to build that trust. Different lineups almost every single week, dealing with injuries with multiple different players. Now they're at a point, guys, where no matter what lineup is on the floor, they have trust, they have confidence, and as they put it together towards the end of the season, they're having fun again, and they approach the postseason a totally different team.
At practice this morning at Belmont across town, John Calipari told his guys, you got to be more desperate. You got to fight like hell. They know they'll have a fight from Vanderbilt tonight because Vanderbilt is red hot. And since they lost by 57 to Alabama on January 31st, they were the 5th best offensive efficiency team in all of hoops.
They're the hottest team in the country that nobody's talking about, but they should be. This team deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. An 11-7 record in the SEC, and not all 11-7 records are created equal. They had to play Tennessee twice, Alabama twice, Kentucky twice, and this team being 8-1 and now 9-1, counting the conference tournament. That's the best since February 1 outside of Houston and UCLA. Houston, UCLA, Vanderbilt? Yes, not a typo. Those are the 3 hottest teams since February 1st. Jerry Stackhouse, Coach of the Year in the SEC, and what a job they've done, and a chance, in my mind, to solidify their NCAA tournament projection.
Knocked off LSU last night, 77-68. Vandy, yeah, the hometown team, but as is typical, Kentucky has taken over this entire town. Cats Saturday won at Arkansas, shot 54% and won the points in the paint battle. Won the glass battle thanks to Oscar Tshiebwe. Some last-minute instructions from John Calipari, who has won more SEC tournaments than any other team not named Kentucky or Alabama. Tshiebwe, by the way, against the Liam Robinless Vandy team the last time they faced off, went for 21 and 20. And he went to the free throw line 15 times. He figures against Quentin Malora-Brown and this depleted Vandy front line to have plenty of opportunities to repeat that line tonight.
There's no question that's where Kentucky has the advantage. And we'll get into it some more later, but this Vanderbilt team, it's not like you just got to live with him getting his, but it is the supporting cast on the perimeter that you got to take away. You can control that a little bit more than you can the big man down low. So look for them to really try to take away Reeves and Toppin on the perimeter. But bad news for Vanderbilt. 22 and white back in the lineup for the Wildcats.
You're looking at Tyron Lawrence. He had 22 last time out, 21 against Kentucky. And yeah, that number 22 is back. Casey Wallace will run the point for the Cats tonight. They survived without a point guard the last couple of games. Tip controlled by Kentucky in its home white. Vandy in the row black. Ezra Magnon, an elite defender, who matched up with Wallace early on. And here's Oscar Tshiebwe. Faces up Malora-Brown. Jump, stop, step through, bucket.
So physical, just gets where he wants to. Malora Brown has to stay down in that pump fake. Don't bite on it.
Starting five for Vandy looks like this. They did not shoot the ball well last night. Trey Thomas went 0 for 6 from 3. But they still managed the win. Pardon me, 0 for 4 for Thomas from deep.
Miles Studi, who will come off the bench. He's a stretch 4 and 5 now with Liam Robbins out. They're going to have to beat Kentucky from beyond the arc.
Lawrence leaves that one short. Jacob Toppin is helping bring the ball up the court since the injuries to both Wallace and Xavier Wheeler, who did not practice in Kentucky's open practice 2 days ago. C.J. Frederick did. He's available, but we expect only to be available on a limited basis.
And Tom, what we've seen from Vanderbilt first 2 possessions, they're okay playing one-on-one in the post against Oscar Tshiebwe. They know he can beat them down there, but they would rather not dig and not double in order to stop the perimeter guys from getting off too.
Vandy on January 31st, after that loss to Alabama, was 10-12 and 3-6 in conference. They turned their season around on a dime. Reeves commits the offensive foul. Antonio Reeves had 37 last time out. It was the most for a Kentucky player in a true road game in about 20 years. Most since Jody Meeks, as a matter of fact, had 45 at Arkansas in 2009. Magnon is a pass-first point guard. Played at UC Davis last year. Played AAU ball with Scottie Pippen Jr. That's what opened up his Vanderbilt recruiting. He gets by Tshiebwe, and with the left, fits it in.
Outstanding penetrator. No coincidence that Vanderbilt's hot streak as a team in February has come when he's been inserted to the starting lineup, and he has not looked back since.
Mentioned this earlier, bears repeating. Vanderbilt is without Liam Robbins, a 7-footer. Livingston puts up an air ball, but it's saved by Toppin. Robbins gives him 15, 7, and 3 blocks a game, and is a great defensive presence with his length, especially against Oscar Tshiebwe. He is sitting adjacent to the Vanderbilt bench. He's had surgery on his leg, but it's not yet casted. He played just 4 minutes and had 2 points in the last matchup.
Playing the best basketball of his career before that injury.
Livingston crashing the glass. Tshiebwe over to the bench area, and he stepped on the inline.
Well, nice job by Vanderbilt there, because Reeves is so good with that floater in that mid-range area, but they sat on it. Contest that. You want to try to make Reeves go to the basket amongst the trees as opposed to that pull-up floater.
That last matchup between Vandy and Kentucky came at Rupp, and it was a last-second Kentucky win, 68-66. Despite the fact that Tshiebwe went for 21 and 20.
Jordan Wright, the hero on the road for the Commodores. Emotional Stackhouse after that game.
He's guarded by Wallace now. Wright into traffic and off the glass.
He's such a mismatch. He can post your guards, or you can take your bigs off the bounce. That time, just puts his shoulder down, kisses off the glass.
See, Cason Wallace has that left leg taped from hip to ankle. Talking with the Kentucky coaching staff, he's not expected to be limited at any way tonight. Ball pinballs around. Wallace fires a 3. Got it! And he had been ice cold, just 2 for his last 20 from deep, but didn't have time to think about that one.
Yeah, how sweet did that look? Just bails Kentucky out after a really good defensive possession by Vanderbilt. Just better offense.
Magnon gets Toppin on the switch. Skip pass intercepted by Wallace. Here's Reeves. Fouled on his way up, and Lawrence went down hard.
Kentucky's positioning in that half-court defense was elite. Vanderbilt was trying to find A little slip here to Malora Brown. And then Wallace says, as soon as I take that away, you think the skip's open? He baits him into that skip pass, anticipates it perfectly, and Reeves going to go to the line. Such a great play by Cason Wallace, who is a two-way player for this Kentucky team.
Another one coming for Reeves, senior from Chicago out of Simeon, played at the same high school Derrick Rose did. C.J. Frederick on the floor for the first time. He's playing injured, that rib injury limiting him on the left side. I asked him a couple of days ago, where does it impact you the most? Is it running, jumping, your lateral movement? Simple answer, he said, breathing. It hurts to breathe.
He was one tough kid and been up and down with his shot, but his effort has always been there. And even when he's on the court, just spreads the court a little bit more. He can be a good screener for him as well. He's going to have to lock down on the defensive end in this one.
He's wearing a bit of a flak jacket to protect those ribs. More on that later. Here's Wright. And he turned it over. He thought Malora Brown would stay on the near side. Good shooting here early on. Co-coach of the year, Jerry Stackhouse in Vandy, trailing Kentucky by 2. 3-seed Kentucky on the floor for the first time leads Vanderbilt in our finale on this quarterfinal Friday. Time to embrace the if, brought to you by Regions. Vanderbilt can win this game if they do what?
And this is why they're playing Oscar Tshiebwe one-on-one on the post, because even if he gets 21 and 20, if you can limit guys like Reeves and Toppin, who have been hot at times and certainly pretty consistent, then you have a chance to repeat that success. This Kentucky team has become much more balanced offensively, though, over the last 5 games. They have 4 guys averaging double figures in points, and that's the balance you like to see. That includes Reeves, Tshiebwe, Toppin, and Wallace.
A little sloppy start to this one. 5 turnovers combined in the first 4 minutes between the two.
Reeves is an interesting story. I mean, this guy, we saw him in the Bahamas. I mean, he was a chicken with his head cut off defensively, and he's not going to be on anybody's all-SEC defense team, but he has really grown in that area. But what I love about him is he has such a short memory on his shot, and where would they be without this transfer, especially on the offensive end?
And he might be the superstar that could carry them through another March run. Kentucky has won more SEC tournaments than everyone else in the conference combined. They won the very first SEC tournament at Atlanta Athletic Club back in 1933. Shot clock at 6. Here's Toppin. And Magnon fighting for the rebound, but so is Wallace. And it will belong to Kentucky. Great hustle by Cason Wallace.
Yeah, first to the deck gets rewarded there. Wallace keeping it alive, as Malora Brown thought he had a easy pickup of the loose ball here. Right at his feet. Magnon, Malora Brown, neither one could get it thanks to Wallace's effort.
Reverse left short. Reeves got stuck under the rim.
That's where you want to send him, though. He's not as good at the rim as he is with the mid-range, the floater, and from 3.
Where's Vandy's offense at its best?
As a unit, Magnon is the best penetrator. That time he coughs it up.
3rd turnover for the Commodores. Tshiebwe looking for position. Now he backs off. This is Toppin isolated. Blocked. Got it back. Got another rebound.
And Malora Brown came over with the help, and then he left his man to go box out on the weak side, and next thing you know, Toppin had nobody between him and the basket for the offensive rebound. You mentioned Vanderbilt offense. Miles Studi coming to check in the game. He's a key in this one because he's that stretch forward. They'll even play him at the 5 sometimes in this game. They have to have his 3-point shooting.
Magnon not much of a 3-point threat, but he hit one last night. Here he is penetrating again.
He's just got an extra gear, man. He gets in there and you think you got him contained, and boom, he boosts through the hole.
Wallace drives. No look out to Reeves for 3. Pretty play for the Cats. They're up by 7.
That's a Mona Lisa dime right there. My goodness. Looks off the entire defense.
Loudest the building has been all week. It'll grow. Reeves again. Cats have made it a 12-0 run to take control of this thing over the last 3:06.
How about the no-look pass by Wallace, finding the best shooter on their team? You cannot leave that guy, but you think Wallace doesn't see him? Oh, he sees everything, and you must find Reeves in transition. He is so good at hunting his shot, and the advanced pass by Frederick there as well. Perfect transition basketball by the Kentucky Wildcats.
Reeves has knocked down his first 2 threes. 3 of Kentucky's 5 makes have come from deep. Vanderbilt with the win at Rupp on March 1st was their first there since 2007 and their first win anywhere over Kentucky since 2016. They had lost 14 in a row. Jerry Stackhouse's team did that even without Liam Robbins, who was injured early in the game. They've got to find some of that Memorial magic and bring it down here to Broadway. Studi on the floor for Vandy, waits in the corner. Freshman Lee Dort back to action last night for the first time after missing a couple of months with a stress fracture. Shot clock of 4 from the logo. Right.
They needed that one. Jordan Wright, not much there in the half-court set, just rises up from 30. Big time shot by 4.
Tshiebwe got a touch on the first possession for Kentucky, but hasn't touched it in the post since. And a reach in on Lee Dort, his first.
Kentucky really packing it in here, showing a lot of help. Antonio Reeves thinks he's close enough. Wright says, I'm feeling it. Nice pull-up tray ball by Jordan Wright.
Reeves needs to guard Wright like others should guard him.
It was funny when I talked to Coach Bruiser Flynn. I said, have you seen Reeves' offensive confidence go up as his defensive confidence has gone up? He goes, oh no. Even when he was making defensive mistakes, he didn't care. He was ready to shoot the next one. That's never affected him.
Tshiebwe forced into an air ball. Can't believe he didn't have the proper follow through. And then Lance Ware commits the foul on the rebound. Both bigs in the game at the same time for Kentucky with Ware and Tshiebwe.
Here's an interesting thing that without a shooter at the point guard position like Magnon is, Wallace can kind of play safety. He's just hanging out. So you've got Wallace, 22 and white, just kind of hanging out right inside that 18-foot area.
Magnon only 4 of 27 from 3 all season. Steps through, got it. You know, there are shades of Scottie Pippen Jr. in Magnon's game, and for good reason. They're very close friends. They played together for a long time.
He gets laterally so quick and so fast.
Ware again commits a foul, this time on an illegal screen.
Magnon, that's up against one of the best defenders in the SEC, and he just does that side hop, and he jumps through, and he jump stops. Such a talented penetrator.
Magnon gets a screen from the big-bodied freshman Dort. Wallace switched onto Dort, onto Wright. Magnon got it again. Magnon's second 3 in as many days after making only 3 during the regular season.
And shooting it with a lot of confidence, too. I think seeing one go in yesterday certainly carried over.
8-0 Vandy run. Tshiebwe dips down, almost stole it. Frederick playing hurt. And the rebound to Dort. And a walk by Trey Thomas. A Vanderbilt run of 8-0 got it back in this game, and it's been Ezra Magnon.
Yeah, when it comes to March, you can forget the percentages. And how about the answer from the Commodores? The Wildcats and their fans ready to take over this place after the timeout. Jerry Stackhouse has other plans.
Cubs have made their last 3 field goals, and Magnon getting in on the fun at 2 and a 3.
Yeah, he can fillet the defense. This guy gets downhill. He's got an extra gear on him and does so well getting in the lane off of 2 feet. Crafty. You got to stay down on fakes, but he gets angles no matter what. Not only is he starting to see the 3-ball go in, but this guy in the SEC play had a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And on top of that, he's actually known for his defense more than any of those great compliments we talked about. Just become one of the better point guards in the SEC that very few people are giving enough credit to.
I asked him about his toughest defensive assignment. He said, that's easy. When I was on the circuit, I had to guard Tyrese Maxey. Same age, same class. That guy, he said, was tough to guard, but I learned stay in front of guys, don't fall for their fakes, stay between them and the rim, and you'll have good success. Magnon was a 1,000-point scorer at UC Davis. 5th most prolific scorer in school history. And the day Pippen declared for the draft, he committed to Vandy, essentially, not from a scoring perspective, but playing time perspective, replacing his buddy in a Vandy uniform. Toppin and Livingston back on the floor for the Cats. Toppin has it rim out. Again, another putback for Jacob Toppin. Great piece by Kyle Tucker in The Athletic this week. He talked about Toppin did his struggles over the course of the season, the ups and downs emotionally, and how tough it's been to be in this Kentucky spotlight when things aren't going well. And by the way, not going well means another 20-win season. They're 21-10.
Toppin has been so reliable. He has not played less than 33 minutes since he came back from that 1-game injury against Tennessee January 14th.
Tshiebwe goes back to his right and takes it off the glass for his 2nd bucket of the night.
If you're Jerry Stackhouse, you're frustrated. It's like, hey, man, our first shot defense isn't bad, but you've got to finish the possession. Those are bunnies, 6 points right at the rim for Kentucky off of those offensive putbacks.
7 offensive rebounds for the Cats. Here's Studi off the curl. Reeves from deep. Another offensive rebound. And this will end on Lee Dort's 2nd personal foul.
Well, they're just burying Vanderbilt right now. And of all the things where Coach Calipari talks about, we got to fight more, people want to hear something more specific. Well, guess what? The last 5 games, they are punishing teams plus 13 on the glass. So you're seeing it. That's the fight that Coach Calipari wants. And Jacob Toppin, him seeking the contact, that's been the difference in his game.
And return Melora Brown. Another one coming for Toppin. Skipped off the rim, and Livingston went to the hardwood. Ball screen for Lawrence, crossed over Tshiebwe. And Toppin lost it out of bounds.
Lawrence is a guy that Vanderbilt has to have a big game from as well. The crafty lefty has been so good in SEC play.
And he's got a glue on that left eyebrow. It's purple glue after he took an elbow to the brow last night and opened up on him. Talked to him before the game. He said, I kind of like the purple. It's very fashionable. It's also practical. Cats back up by 7. Tshiebwe gets turned around and turns it over. Freshman Lewis for 3. No hesitation, no nerves for the freshman.
3 good looks from deep. 2 for Studi, 1 for Lewis, just not going in right now.
Reeves from the corner.
See most of the action Vanderbilt runs is trying to get Tshiebwe away from the basket, make him play through some ball screens, back screens, you name it.
He has set up camp in the lane here. 3-ball good, Tyron Lawrence.
And the most contested, more difficult 3-ball they've had is the one that goes in.
Cats went on a 12-0 run to take control of this game. But Vandy showing great fight. Tshiebwe banks it in.
He's just got such strong shoulders that when he gets in there, as big as Malora Brown is, when he feels that shoulder, he's getting a foot or two of separation as Tshiebwe.
Trey Thomas lets it fly.
Trey Thomas, the smallest guy for Vanderbilt, is their best screener. When one of your best shooters is your best screener, it opens up way more shots, just like the quality of that one.
Tshiebwe loves his mid-range jumper. That one's short. He went 10 minutes between buckets after scoring the first before he got his second. Step through drive, and it's Massade off the glass. What a move by Lawrence.
How about the hang time to go to the opposite side of the rim and finish?
And he was able to spin it in. Toppin with the answer from deep, his first three of the night.
He's becoming a three-level scorer right before our eyes.
Now Lawrence on Tshiebwe. No mismatch inside, though. Livingston saves it. Oscar Tshiebwe finds it. Looking for an assist to Toppin. Livingston. Toppin. Toppin again. Jerry Stackhouse all over the officials. Kentucky fans out of their seats. Lewis. Paul Lewis with his first bucket of the night. He had 11 last night for Vandy in their win against LSU. They used a 15-5 run in the second half to take control of the Tigers and send LSU home. Reeves from 19. Lawrence into Wallace. Here's Toppin on the run. Lob to Reeves. Vandy didn't get back. Kentucky took advantage.
That's just like they practice every day. Get it and go quick. Pitch ahead. There was not a single dribble on the execution of that fast break.
Out to Lewis. Three ball.
Boy, how about the freshman? Just not afraid of the moment. As the crowd gets louder, he seems to get better.
Toppin to Tshiebwe. Malora Brown draped all over him. Tipped out to Thomas. Vandy can tie it with a three. This is a high-level contest, intense in front of a sold-out crowd, and Lawrence got it in.
Yeah, he got a wide opening there as they were trying to force him to not use the ball screen. He saw a driving lane. He could have had the right side or the left.
Vandy's made 6 of its last 7. Freshman versus freshman here. Wallace pull up.
He's so good with that, man. Just 1-2 dribble pull up. That ball screen action is a go-to play for them.
Lewis will pull from deep. Jerry Stackhouse stoic on the Vandy sideline. You think he's good with that shot?
No, but I think it started when Tyron Lawrence gave it up too quickly. It was the same action as the play before. Kentucky was icing the ball screen, and he kicked it out before he really tried to attack.
Reeves on the drive.
Well, they're going to give him that layup. We talked about him needing to finish better at the rim. Can't do it any better than that.
Here's Lewis. And now Studi puts it on the deck. Livingston Forced him into a terrible shot.
Really well scouted by Kentucky, though. That was a play for Lewis on the design baseline drive and a reverse pivot for the shooter, but Kentucky was all over it.
Tshiebwe buries the long jumper.
Well, that makes it tough, doesn't it? You get Wallace and Tshiebwe. Wallace can hit the mid-range. Tshiebwe can.
Cats had a trio of subs waiting to check in. They'll come back to the bench. Next dead ball will send us to a timeout. Wallace blew that one up. Here's Lewis to Malora Brown. Studi shares it. Another one to the freshman. Shot clock. Beat it. And a foul after.
Wow, how about the ball movement there from Vanderbilt? Late shot clock, and they do not panic whatsoever.
And afterwards, Reeves whistled for his second foul. John Calipari about to come out of his sneakers. Lewis with his second three. Set for tomorrow on ESPN with Carl Ravitch, Jimmy Dykes, and Marty Smith. 1 seed Bama, 4 seed Missouri. They met January 21st. Alabama beat Mizzou by 21. And the winner of this one gets Texas A&M. Dane, an Aggie team that came from behind to knock off Arkansas. 2 different halves for the Hogs.
Just such an impressive response by Texas A&M. They were down 13 at the half. A banked-in 3 by Arkansas. It looked like the Hogs had all the momentum. And then Aggies got back to their brand of basketball. Got to the line over 20 times in the second half. And just really had Arkansas flustered on the offensive end.
All 30 points from Vanderbilt from the Commodores' backcourt thus far. That was a foul on Antonio Reeves as the ball went through the net. So after the made 3, it's Vanderbilt basketball here. Adu Thiero in the game for the first time for Kentucky. And Frederick returns to the floor.
Now this is a really small lineup. We're Colin Smith playing the 5, but he's really a shooter.
Magnon and Lewis especially small in the backcourt. Wright banks it in.
And that works because Tshiebwe is out guarding a 5-man shooter.
Wallace running the point here. Thiero has been essentially the backup point guard in Kentucky practices all season. They gave them some valuable minutes with Wallace and Wheeler out in their last game against Arkansas.
And then on the other end, you have a smaller, quicker defender in Smith. And then speaking of quick, again, he's got just an extra gear.
John Calipari wants a timeout. Magnon went right by C.J. Frederick. Frederick impacted with that rib injury. He's wearing a flak jacket, and he didn't have the quicks to respond to Ezra Magnon. And now it's Vanderbilt on a 7-0 run over the last 47 seconds. And we've got a tie game in Nashville. Ezra was playing at the green light last night, but I could be wrong. Vandy and Kentucky tied at 34. There was a long stretch when we should have gone to an under 8 timeout that really extended through 2 media timeouts, and I thought Vandy was getting winded, and then they go on a 7-0 run in less than a minute.
And a lot of that was due to their small ball lineup. It's the first time we've seen it, but without Liam Robbins available, Quentin Malora Brown logging a lot of minutes early. And so what do? You counter Kentucky with a smaller lineup, Colin Smith at the 5, and now all of a sudden, guess what? Tshiebwe can't post up as easily because he's got a quicker defender who's denying on the front end, and he's spread out wide on the defensive side. Curious to see how long this advantage keeps working for this smaller Commodore club.
Wallace, or pardon me, Toppin goes to the ground. Frederick down there with Wallace. And the Cats have it with 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
Keep your eye on one in black. He's got to box out here.
Easier said than done, right?
Yeah, he did everything. He didn't even look at the shot. He just tried to push Tshiebwe out away from the basket. And big Oscar just relentless.
Oscar is not just big, he's also smart, and he plays the angles better than anybody, which has led him to be the nation's best rebounder for back-to-back seasons. He seems to know, like all elite rebounders, exactly where that ball is going to end up.
He's not flying all over the place. He's pretty patient, great footwork, and just kind of keeps moving a little bit and then reacts so well, like a Dennis Rodman. He knows where that ball is going to bounce.
Except he's the opposite of Dennis Rodman off.
That's right, yeah.
Here's Frederick. 1:10 to play in the half.
There's Carmen Electra. Oh,
Toppin. And Magnon finds a rebound. The backcourt has been absolutely thrilling for Vandy in this one. Magnon. Wright with the step through.
But if you're Jordan Wright, you like the comfort of knowing you can get to the paint without Oscar Tshiebwe down there.
Wallace pump fake. Open three. Studi is down, and they will stop play for player safety after, pardon me, Colin Smith, after Vandy secured the rebound. And they're going to go look and make sure wasn't anything flagrant about it.
The freshman from Dallas, Texas, Colin Smith, been very aggressive since being inserted into the game. Known more as a three-point shooter. Now, next thing you know, he's got to guard two-time All-American Oscar Tshiebwe.
Ooh.
We've seen Oscar get called for that in the past when he's lost his cool and he's admitted, hey, I got to be more under control in those moments.
And the difficult part of this, Dane, is that you saw the physicality that Colin Smith was using leading up to the elbow. I mean, he was draped all over Tshiebwe, but that difference is 215 pounds versus 260, and it's something that Tshiebwe says, I got to deal with this each and every night.
And he plays with his elbows up quite a bit. However, he's got to be aware, too, that when he makes contact above that head and neck area, that certainly makes him vulnerable.
I mean, Colin Smith hasn't been a bear hug. I just don't know how Oscar's going to avoid in F1 after his elbow connected with Smith's chin.
I agree with you. I'd be surprised if that's not an F1. And in that situation where a call wasn't made, it can only be a flagrant. There's no personals given after the fact. So that's all they're reviewing.
You can't review it and assign a personal. Is this not the second consecutive game that Oscar has picked up in F1, or we assume this is coming? The same thing in the first half against Arkansas.
I got to tell you, though, this is the most Kentucky's offense has looked disrupted the whole game, is when Vanderbilt has gone small.
Terry Oglesby, KB Burdett, and Olandis Poole are officials tonight. Confirmed a flagrant one, and confirmed that Dane's wearing a very nice sport coat tonight. What else?
What else is it's a flagrant one on Oscar Tshiebwe, 2 shots for Colin Smith and Vanderbilt ball. And so you look at how red hot Kentucky got in this game. The crowd got into it, and they got a big, Vanderbilt had a big deficit, and the Commodores have withstood the rally. And the way this game started, I would not have thought the Commodores would be in a position to have the lead going into half. But here you are with really only 2 seconds between game clock, shot clock. They got a chance to take this into the locker room with a lead.
Colin Smith, the freshman from Dallas out of Compass Prep, was a 4-star recruit. Oscar on the bench now with his first personal.
And I'll say this is not about Kentucky falling asleep at the wheel or playing down to their competition. They're playing up against an NCAA tournament caliber team. Now, I know Joe Lunardi has them out right now, but what I've seen and based on their resume, I think these Commodores are in, and they're proving it right now in this first half.
Vandy's first lead since it was 4-2. Jerry Stackhouse, SEC co-coach of the year. And they're trying to get on the right side of the bubble. Joe Lunardi has them outside as of today, but a win here would do wonders for the resume. And they could turn into a bid thief here in the middle of Champ Week or towards the end of Champ Week. Champ Week gets longer and longer every year. 2-second difference shot in game clock. Here's Magnon. Gets it back. Drives on Livingston. Out to Lewis. Shot clock at 5. Lewis kicks it. Shot clock at 2. And the 3 is good from Jordan Wright. Vandy will take a 5-point lead into the locker room. Largest lead of the half for the bubblicious Commodores. Alyssa Lang is with Jerry Stackhouse.
Coach, how would you evaluate the first half from your team?
That was a great SEC basketball game right there. I mean, the guys are competing. Both sides. It's physical. It's tough. We matched. They came out with a lot of energy. We matched their energy, and we finally got some shot making.
What will be the emphasis at halftime?
Just continue to play with urgency, continue to defend, and we have to rebound the basketball. Try to limit them to one shot. We've been doing a good job of making them, on their first shot, but now we got to rebound the ball and take those second shots away.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Tom, back to you.
39-34, Vandy lead a 12-0 run over the last 2:29 to take the lead into the locker room, Dane.
Well, they took away their first action, but then Casey Wallace got caught helping too far over and loses sight. And how about the freshman Paul Lewis, patient, keeps his head up, finds a skip pass to a shooter, Jordan Wright. Wow, these Commodores are playing some ball, and they are getting contributions from their freshmen, their seniors, and their coach.
Jerry Stackhouse hits the locker room with the lead. Kentucky scoreless over the last 3 minutes. Let's get you up to the studio. Dorian Oka in the game.
Guys, thank you much. Pat Bradley, Ron Slay, Damian Fishback.
Downtown Nashville, Tennessee, crawling with folks in blue, but their Cats trail Vandy 39-34 as we get ready to start the second half. And an emotional game here with Vandy on the cut line for the NCAA tournament. Kentucky trying to improve its seeding and win another SEC tournament championship. Welcome back. Tom Hart alongside Dave Bradshaw. Vandy's guards have scored 37 of their 39 points. The perimeter play has been the difference in this first half.
No question about it. This is a Vanderbilt team that's better from 3 than 2, and you can't let them beat you from the 3-point line. But that's exactly what the Commodores did. According to KenPom, they get 35% of their points from 3, which is 60th best in the nation. In the first half, over half of their points came from beyond the arc with 7 3-balls. A lot of them deep contested shots. But if you're Kentucky, you say, hey, you know what? They're making them. We got to get out there sooner, quicker, make them put it on the deck, run them off that 3-point line, and dare Vanderbilt to beat you from 2. If not, it could be an upset here for the Commodores.
56% from the floor for Vandy and 7 of 15 from deep, even though they've been out-rebounded 22-9. Alyssa Lang had a chance to tap with John Calipari. Langer, what'd you learn?
Yeah, Coach Cal basically echoed what Dane just said. He said we got to do a better job defending the 3 and protecting the rim. He said when Vanderbilt is driving, we're letting them drive too easily. He said we've got 20 minutes left. I told my guys plenty of time to fight. First half certainly was a battle, guys.
That was the message he started the day with when Kentucky practiced at Belmont University this morning as Lawrence cuts down the lane for a bucket. He said, you've got to be desperate. You got to fight like hell. It's a refuse to lose type of moment. And now Vanderbilt has opened up its largest lead of the game.
And no mental lapses too, right? And Laura Brown gets the ball in the post. He's not really a threat to score. And you stare at him as if you got to help. That's Reeves getting back cut on that one.
Laura Brown denying Tshiebwe inside. Good cut by Livingston. And that's the first bucket for Chris Livingston, the freshman out of Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, they got to get him going. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster year, but he can really impose his will, especially on the glass.
This Vanderbilt backcourt playing with so much confidence. Magnon rolls one home.
And that's a shot he can't make because they set the ball screen so deep because nobody's going to go out there and play him. So they say, fine, we'll just set our ball screen 15 feet and in.
Tshiebwe going to work, kicks it out. An air ball from Wallace. I don't think John Calipari is a fan of the way they're not calling the post defense by Vandy, saying Tshiebwe's continuing to get shoved. Another bucket from Magnon. Kentucky has to use a timeout. Cal's going to use his timeout to talk to the guys in stripes.
To Alyssa's point with her conversation with them, hey, they got to defend the three, but they also got to defend the easy ones at the rim. Not so much here in this opener.
Downtown Nashville, Tennessee, where Vanderbilt is looking for a monster upset and something to bolster their postseason resume. Missouri came from behind to knock off Tennessee. Kobe Brown was magnificent. What incredible growth he's been through during his time on campus.
Yeah, so happy for a kid like that to be able to enjoy some team success, have a postseason opportunity, and he has just been a mismatch nightmare. Good player, decent team. Wondered would he take the next step this season. All of a sudden he's become a great player, great team. I gotta tell you, that game against Tennessee, I still think Tennessee with a 3 seed, they can advance to the Sweet 16. I don't know that they're going to play a better team in the first round, maybe not second round, than what they saw from the Missouri Tigers.
I hear you, but my counter is, what is your concern of a Tennessee squad without Zakai Zeigler?
Oh, of course they miss his ball handling. They have to subsidize that a little bit. That was just a really tough matchup against Missouri. Their ceiling certainly is not as high without their quarterback and heart and soul. The good news for Tennessee is their body of work is so good they'll get a good seed. However, if they do get that 3 seed the way they've struggled a little bit, there's going to be a 14 saying, this is who we want. See if their defense can travel in the NCAA tournament.
Let's see if the post defense for Vandy is officiated any differently going forward. Remember, Oscar Tshiebwe picked up a flagrant one for an elbow to Colin Smith. Wallace pull up from the free throw line.
Nice job just pulling up over the smaller defender. Nice high release.
Wright can't get around Toppin. Smith back out to Wright. And a 3 short. Toppin will try to push it for the Cats. Baseline drive and a foul charge to Jordan Wright.
You want to get out and run if you're Kentucky, and Magnon does a good job of forcing Reeves off that corner 3, but credit Reeves for going hard at that rim, getting himself to the stripe.
Reeves, a Chicago kid. Have had some Chicago talent make its way to the Bluegrass, leave an impact. Maybe Anthony Davis rings a bell, or Tyler Ulis on the Kentucky bench right now. He's a student assistant for John Calipari. Right next to Chin Coleman.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites there. That guy never made the wrong decision. Such an elite point guard decision maker.
Colin Smith pulls down the rebound. Reeves struggling from the free throw line. Magnon with the shake and the finish.
And that is something special there. He just gets around that ball screen, a little bit of a
and he steals it. Magnon jumped Wallace, who's sending in the play call, but he blew the layup.
Did he forget about the backboard?
Toppin to Tshiebwe. It will stay with Kentucky.
Wow. Magnon makes so many tough twos in the lane, and then the easiest bunny he'll have all game. Credit him for the theft here. Couldn't tell if he tried to use the glass or not, but either way, bad angle.
Reeves goes back iron, and it's ripped away by Colin Smith. This Vandy team is showing incredible fight. Magnon crosses Toppin and then gets the whistle. He has elite quicks.
Especially with this bigger lineup with Quentin Malora-Brown at the 5. He's a great screen setter. And so that allows Magnon to really operate and weave through the defense off that ball screen action. Vanderbilt having a lot of success there. Kentucky unable to stay in front of 5.
C.J. Frederick back on the floor. He's playing with a custom rib protector protecting his left side, molded plastic, and he commits a foul. You can kind of see the bulge underneath Frederick's jersey. Walking off the floor a couple days ago, he knocked on it. He said it's harder than a doorknob. It took him about a week to get it made. It's molded to the side of his ribs and it fits in a sleeve, and it's all he can do to be on the floor. As I mentioned earlier, he has trouble breathing. The ribs hurt so bad.
Yeah, but look at him in there fighting, busting through screens, boxing out. He checked about 3 different players on that possession.
Livingston lost it going across the end line. Here's Wright. Malora-Brown with the tip. First bucket of the night for the Vandy Big. Leads now 11. Liam Robbins relegated to a cheerleader role. Reeves takes it hard.
Nice back cut by Reeves. Magnon was not going to let him get the ball on the perimeter. Nice counter.
Wright fires. Wow! Largest lead of the night for Vandy. Jordan Wright was the hero at Rupp. And a well-timed 3. What an answer! Livingston dropped the beats on him. Wright again. And Livingston went hard to the floor.
About the action in this game, the back and forth, the highlight plays. It's Vanderbilt 3s versus Kentucky's 2s. And how about that deep one? When you dunk on a big man, a 7-footer, you say, I got me a footer. Not quite 7 feet, but 6'10". Still pretty impressive. Big time play by Livingston.
Exactly how much is on the line for Jerry Stackhouse and Vanderbilt? As of now, they're on the outside looking in, but if you want to compare their resume to other teams, they come out favorably.
No question about it. They beat Pitt in the head-to-head here in Nashville. Pitt has a weaker strength of schedule. Then you look at Rutgers. They've got the same amount of quad 3 and 4 losses as Vanderbilt does. And then you move on to a team like Providence, who have a pretty good quad 1 and 2 record, but not as good as Vanderbilt, who is 9 and 10 against quad 1 and 2 teams. Extremely impressive. And then how about Utah State? That's a weaker strength of schedule. No games against the top 10 net teams. And look, non-conference, you can manipulate the schedule a little bit. Conference, you can't hide. And Vanderbilt had an extremely tough conference schedule because it's unbalanced. They go 11 and 7. But it's even more impressive when you consider they had to play Tennessee twice, Kentucky twice, Alabama twice. They have earned an NCAA tournament bid.
Meanwhile, other tournament teams, Iona knocked off Niagara 71-59, with rumors swirling that Pitino could be the next head coach at St. John's. Texas Tech has also shown interest in him, according to reports. And Georgetown is open.
I'll go back to the, if you say, well, tell me the bad about Vanderbilt. They've got a quad 4 loss against Grambling. You say, come on, Grambling. But guess what? Grambling's 173 in the net. That's a quad 4 loss, but it isn't bottom of the NCAA. There's worse quad 4 losses out there.
Good defense by Tshiebwe over Colin Smith. And Reeves is able to get it in. The bottom line is where Vandy stands now versus the impact that a win like this would have on their program, but catapults them right into the tournament.
Here's that small ball lineup that was so effective towards the end of the first half.
They went on a 7-0 run. Tshiebwe with the steal on Magnon and a finger roll. Cats on a roll. Tshiebwe into double figures. Lawrence fouled.
Tshiebwe does a nice job of denying reversal. Great anticipation skills. Prior to that, it was Antonio Reeves. This kid's just a bucket. He knows how to score, man. And then Tshiebwe, there's not too many big men that can go coast to coast, under control, be fast but not in a hurry, and lay it up with such grace as the big man there.
First consensus National Player of the Year to return to the game since 2008. It's Tyron Lawrence at the free throw line. Alyssa, what'd you get out of the Kentucky huddle?
Yeah, Coach Cal challenging his guys to not worry about what could happen or what might happen next, but to get in there and make a play. And it sounds like, looks like they've responded with those last two buckets there. He also said, guys, I don't want to see you jumping up for loose balls with just one hand. Get two hands on that thing.
Lawrence knocks them both down. He's got 11 points. Cal wasn't really worried on his radio show early this week about watching film. He's like, we don't even know who we're going to play. Watch Little House on the Prairie. They're trying to deliver a good night John Boy here. Reeves looking for Livingston. He's got a mismatch. Magnon got a tip on it. And then Toppin goes to the floor. Toppin holding his left ankle. Lawrence had to go off the clock on the other end, and Jacob Toppin is going to stay in this game. Man, that looked pretty bad at the other end.
Tough break for Kentucky on the slip there. But Vanderbilt frustrated, thinking Lawrence didn't lose that ball on his own. They thought at worst they were going to have a baseline out of bounds play under their own basket.
Reeves with the long two.
If you're guarding that ball screen action, Studi, you got to step up. That's a shooter. He played him like he was a non-shooter. That's one of the best in the game.
Toppin whistle for the foul. That's his first. Reeves had 37 last time out. He's got 17 tonight.
Well, you either switch this, or if Thomas gets clipped, you got to get up there sooner. You're playing off him like you just need to contest so he doesn't see a big rim. 12 and White's as confident of an offensive scorer as anybody in the SEC.
Magnon on Wallace. Out to Lawrence. Contested three. Rattles home.
How about the shoulder fake shimmy as if he was going to drive and then raises up from deep.
Meanwhile, the Cats have heated up on this end. They've made all of their last five, I should say. Tshiebwe on the offensive glass, slams it home.
They have been punishing Vanderbilt all night. They are third best in the country at getting 38% of the misses is Kentucky, and they have taken advantage.
Plus 14 on the glass overall. Lawrence into the lane. Another one for Vandy.
He's got a bag on him that you got to check in. That thing can't fit in overhead.
16 for Tyron Lawrence. And they'll get Miles Studi for his first personal.
How about Lawrence with the little shimmy there and gets Toppin to retreat just a little bit and raises up. And Tshiebwe, Thomas does all he can, but 160 pounds trying to box out Oscar Tshiebwe. Good luck. And then Lawrence, he can go left, he can go right, he can go from three, you name it. He wasn't named to the All-SEC team, but if you ask coaches around this league who's been playing some of the best ball over the past month, Tyron Lawrence is one of the best guards this late in the season.
Tshiebwe guarded by Studi at 6'7". Here's the ball screen. Out to Livingston. Oscar's got another miss, and they're going to get Thomas for the foul on Tshiebwe. That'll send us to a break. Jerry Stackhouse is calm on the outside, but this is a Vandy team that needs this win like they need their next breath. Vandy up by 9. What a turnaround for this Vandy team, winning 9 of its previous 10 after a January 31st loss to Alabama. Wasn't just any loss. Alabama absolutely embarrassed some teams this season, and they're going to be the #1 overall seed in the tournament for a good reason. They beat Jerry Stackhouse's team by 57. So how did they respond? Did they crawl in the hole? Did they mail it in the rest of the season? No. They came out and they played their best basketball of the year.
That was not Vanderbilt basketball against Alabama.
Toppin with the lob push.
And they have responded. They've faced their own adversity, and they've been counted out. But this is a bunch of underdogs here that feel like they might be playing at Rupp for the second time in a week. But they're trying to remind the Kentucky Wildcats this is still their city.
Toppin's got 12 and 10, 8 double-double. Oscar rips down the rebound, and then they get the whistle on the back, and you're starting to see that the officials are more aware of the contact on Tshiebwe.
Yeah, but a silly foul there. There's no way you're going to be able to muscle that ball away from Tshiebwe. Once he's got 2 paws on it, you can forget about it. Just go get back on defense. But Studi now playing the 5 for Vanderbilt. So they're going to have to front the post and have some backside help.
Wallace down the lane. Studi for 3.
He hadn't liked this arena, has he? Looks good coming out of his hand.
Well, it's 1 for 11 last night, and 1 of 8 from deep. Another Vandy steal. Another failure to convert, though. Shot clock at 3. Lawrence. Tshiebwe's got 8 boards. Toppin directing traffic. Wallace looking for the assist. It won't come. Tshiebwe with 3 doors on him. Oh man, halfway down for Reeves.
They did everything right on that possession, did Kentucky. Oscar Tshiebwe just a man amongst boys down low. Great find on the kick out, couldn't get it to drop.
Kentucky just 4 of 16 from 3. Thomas and Lewis catch a breather.
The freshman Lewis, he's really played well in this tournament. Guy that came into the game an afterthought, or excuse me, conference tournament, averaged just 3 points a game. Played extremely well last night. 8 clutch ones here. Contributions from everybody.
Studi. And Melora Brown's tip kept it alive.
Great play call to get an open 3.
Wallace went down. Right. Into Tshiebwe.
How about that for a tough 2? Take the contact, hang in the air, and finish with the offhand.
And the little jumper is just not going for the Cats. They haven't scored in the last 2+ minutes.
So they got to stay in front of this guy.
Young started his career at UC Davis. Great academic reputation there. He said, I knew when I was going to transfer, I had to go somewhere that also had a good academic standing. Melora Brown with the shake and draws the foul. And Tshiebwe, who insists he was straight up. It is the 3rd on Oscar Tshiebwe.
Melora Brown, maybe the most valuable 3.4 rebound guy in the league. Just does all the little things. This time makes the defense respect his post game. You want to try to defend that one without fouling, because that's just not his strength. He's a screener, a hustler, high IQ guy. But you want to play him one-on-one in the post, make him prove he can make that.
Melora Brown started his college career at Rice. The scouting report on him is pretty simple. He gives you every ounce of what he has. In grad school now, mechanical engineering degree, 2 for 2 from the line. 11-point Vandy lead.
Yeah, that only three-pointer on the season for Melora Brown was at the halftime buzzer beater at Rupp Arena.
It's the only one he's made in his college career. 5 years deep. Reeves. Rim has just not been kind to Kentucky tonight. Toppin rises, drops it down.
He's always had that, and just a 1-2 dribble pull up. He is so comfortable with that mid-range shot.
Magnon dishes to Melora Brown, and Wallace takes it away. It's off of Vandy.
Magnon did the hard part of penetrating that defense with everybody sucked in. I think that's when you want to look out for the kick out three as opposed to the interior pass in traffic. That's where Kentucky, they kind of get it in bounds to run a play as opposed to run a play. They like to lob it to Toppin and then run Frederick off some down screens and Reeves.
Reeves and Tshiebwe on the same side. Oscar massages it in. He's got 14.
It's been a tough 14 though, hasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, he's had to work for every single one of them, and that's all you can ask for if you're Jerry Stackhouse.
Another double-double, his 47th in his career. Lawrence almost lost it, bobbles it, keeps it, fades. Toppin all the way down, and it got tied up by Lawrence. He'll be at the free throw line when we return to Bridgestone Arena. Big, bad Oscar Tshiebwe trying to flex his muscles on the doors tonight.
Yeah, you know whose pain it is. It's Oscar Tshiebwe. Through the contact there. He came back for one reason and one reason only, try to win a national championship. They got to get through the doors first.
So great to be back in Nashville Music City, home to the SEC tournament for the 11th time. Last time we were here, we got interrupted. So great to finish it. We got semifinals coming tomorrow. Alabama and Mizzou to start. A&M gets the winner of this one and a champion crowned on Sunday. How about this? Last two games against Vandy. Tshiebwe, 7 points behind his total last time. Reeves better, Toppin better. Kind of what you were talking about in terms of supporting cast needing to power Kentucky, because Oscar had 21 and 20 and they lost.
Yeah, they've had some balance there, and I think they've gotten what they want in terms of that balance. And Vanderbilt would have liked to have had Reeves and Toppin a little more in check tonight, but it's really been on the other end of the court where the Commodores have been good from three, but they've been really good from two as well. They've been able to get their shots at the rim off the dribble penetration, whereas Kentucky's done it more so off the offensive rebounds and post-ups to Tshiebwe.
Kentucky led this game by 10, 7 minutes into it. John Calipari, since he's been at Kentucky, has won 96% of his games with a 10-point lead. That's 328 wins against just 13 losses. Big Blue Nation on its feet. Vanderbilt's cold shooting, parlayed with a 6-0 Kentucky run, has made it a 5-point game, and now Wallace is steal. Reeves ahead. He's got Livingston. Slipped and then gets fouled. And it's not the first time we've seen players lose their footing on this floor throughout this tournament.
Glad to see Reeves okay there, because he was certainly caught off guard as he tried to explode in the air. Great anticipation and hands by Wallace. Glad to see him okay on the other end. Magnon, we talked about a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in league play. Clearly the best in the conference, but it's been 3 assists, 5 turnovers. So as good as he's been scoring the ball, he's got to take better care of it down the stretch here for the Commodores.
Yeah, ball's been in his hands a lot tonight, hasn't it? Here's Reeves, 81% on the season. I mentioned he's a Chicago native, but he went out to Phoenix to play high school ball for a year, played for the great Mike Bibby at Shadow Mountain High School in Phoenix. He said what I loved about it, ran it like a pro team. There was trust in what we did, but he was also demanding. Back to Chicago for his senior year at Simeon Academy before going to Illinois State. He's made it a 3-point game. It's an 8-0 run. Bridgestone is bubbling now. Bubble teams keeping a watchful eye on this Vandy squad. Entry denied by Tshiebwe, but Wright still got it. Wright goes down. Magnon saves it at midcourt. Great balance at the shot clock buzzer. Buries it! Ezra Magnon danced his way at midcourt, then identified the clock, and they are in disbelief.
Vanderbilt has saved their season off of clutch plays at the buzzer. This one's certainly not in game, but how important is this? Tiptoes that line. Terrific balance. The awareness, sees shot clock. Up, rise. That thing definitely got off before clock hit 0.
They can review it, and they'll make sure it was good. And it is.
It's now 30 of Vanderbilt's 66 points from deep. And the unusual suspect right there has 2 of them himself.
Talk about those bubble teams. Teams like Utah State and Arizona State. Both in the last 4 in, taking the floor later tonight. Clemson trailing Virginia big in Greensboro. Penn State, one of the last 4 byes, knocked off Northwestern in overtime in the Big Ten tournament. Reeves waits for Tshiebwe. Into Melora Brown. And it's taken away by Jordan Wright.
When you think about Melora Brown, he has not had a double team, a dig all night. He has been left on an island with Tshiebwe and made it tough on the All-American.
Magnon is turning into one of the most dynamic players in the league right before our very eyes. 10th straight start tonight. And he has paced this Vandy team on both ends. Here's Wright. An air ball, and Wallace pulls it down. Cats down by 6.
Wallace does not look full speed to me.
Reeves does, but that's off.
We saw Wallace with that back brace in warm-ups after halftime. Just kicking the ball ahead a little bit more than him pushing it off the bounce.
Looked like they got a whistle, indeed, on Quentin Melora Brown on the rebound. The problem for John Calipari is that he's very limited in his options behind Wallace. Tshiebwe will be shooting a 1-and-1 here. Here's a look at the foul. And they're going to, I guess it was a hook on Melora Brown. I want to go look at it and see if it wasn't a hook and a hold that could be upgraded to a flagrant. Well, the hardest jobs, these 3 guys in stripes, is to officiate the game that's been played primarily on the perimeter and try to judge the wrestling match that's going on the interior.
I don't see that qualifying as an F1. It's supposed to be a deceitful act to try to trick the referee into thinking you're the one being held. That rule was put in a few years back when Purdue's Isaac Haas actually got a fractured elbow. But
did that angle change your mind at all? It was the right arm of Melora Brown.
I mean, he wrapped it. I just didn't see him clinch and hold down and really hook it as much.
I think they're going to give him a hook and hold because they're signifying 2 free throws instead of 1 and 1. Landis Poole will give you an explanation here in a moment. Maybe Burdett explains it. Calipari and the Kentucky staff. This could be a huge play in the game. Remember, one of Vandy's runs in the first half came after the flagrant 1 charge to Oscar Tshiebwe, and now down 6 here, and the flagrant 1 charge to Quentin Malora-Brown and a hook and a hold.
Could be a turn of events there because that's what they called was the hook and hold. So 2 free throws for Tshiebwe, and they will get the ball under their own basket.
Oscar's 73% free throw shooter on the season.
Seeing the ghost screen action, a little bit more ghost step there from Oscar Tshiebwe to the invisible teammates.
(16 for Tshiebwe, 4-point game. Winner of this one gets Texas A&M in the second semifinal tomorrow.
You get a bucket here, and this crowd is going to take over this place.
Like a shirtless dude singing Wagon Wheel at Tootsie's. Here's Toppin. Ten on the clock. Reeves for 3. Knocked away by Livingston, and Vandy secures the rebound.
Yeah, that was a really important stop to not allow that hook and hold to be worse than what it would have been just a trip to the free throw line. And they keep Vanderbilt's guards out of the paint.
Lawrence is just running circles in there. Under 5 to play. Magnon runs into Wallace, and a blocking foul on Casey Wallace. Second on Wallace, and to your point, he is truly limited with that left leg injury. He's less than 100%.
Think back a year ago with this Kentucky team, they were banged up. Ty Washington, Galen Grady's feet, and you just hate to see this. You want to win the game in the SEC tournament, and it's important, but you need this guy as healthy as possible for the NCAA tournament.
C.J. Frederick will take Wallace's place with 4:54 to go.
As a reminder, they did win on the road at Bud Walton Arena, essentially with no natural point guard. Wheeler already out. I'd be really surprised if Wallace comes back in.
And they used Adu Thiero, but has only played 1 minute tonight. Big buckets for Ezra Magnon. He's got a game-high 20 points. One of his best performances in a Vanderbilt uniform.
And he is denying Reeves the ball. He is covering 12 in white. Anybody but Reeves.
Toppin off the glass.
Great take by Toppin. If they're going to make you play 4-on-4, you got to go to work and have another scorer. Toppin provides it.
They'll get Reeves for the foul, chasing Magnon around the screen. 3rd on Reeves.
As Magnon was denying Reeves the ball, Toppin's going to take this off the bounce. Again, has gotten so much more aggressive of getting to the rim. He went from somebody in the offseason you thought could be a 3-level scorer to a little bit of no-level scorer, up and down season, but has reasserted himself and become a reliable guy at the rim from mid-range and from 3.
8 of 10 shooting from Magnon. He is perfect from the free throw line and perfect from deep. And he stays perfect. We approach the 4-minute mark. Vandy leading by 6. Other bubble teams like Arizona State and Utah State will play late tonight. Might be watching in the locker room of the hotel. Livingston, no. And it's going to stay with Kentucky. 3:56 remaining. We're coming down to the wire in a final quarterfinal of the day in Nashville. To Kentucky on January 24th. Jerry Stackhouse said probably disappointed as I've ever been in a postgame with this group. Just thought we had selfish play to begin the game. It bled over our defense, and everybody was trying to do it on their own. Things changed a week ago when they won on the road at Kentucky behind his senior Jordan Wright.
Because we started in this thing together. This is my very first recruit. This first guy that I signed at Vanderbilt. So I get a little bit emotional with this one right here because he's, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what it's, you know, this is a great moment for us, great moment for our program, and I'm glad that he was able to help us do it tonight.
That emotion from Jerry Stackhouse is real. The belief in his guys, even from day one when he first got the job and they were undermanned in this league.
Yeah, he never made excuses or talked about wait till I get my guys or we need more talent in here. He has always said we have enough, and boy do they have enough with this roster. Just a terrific coaching job by Jerry Stackhouse, but not a bigger 3 minutes and 56 seconds in their season than this right here.
They split their matchup during the regular season. And take a pick. Magnon. Nope, that's Malora Brown and his second. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Tshiebwe and Toppin been effective for Kentucky tonight. Third pair of teammates each have 15 and 10 in the same SEC tournament game of the last 25 years. Daniel Gafford and Jalen Barford for Arkansas in 18. And Tayshaun Prince and Keith Bogans did it for Kentucky in 2001. Missed the front end. Costly.
They've got to get them some stops, though. I mean, Vanderbilt is 50, 40, 100. Field goal, 3-point, free throw line. They've got to get some traditional stops.
Magnon. Second 20-point effort of the season. He had 24 against South Carolina. Malora Brown misses the putback. Mason Wallace back in the game despite the left leg injury. Tshiebwe turned it over. He thought Livingston was coming down the lane. Went a different direction.
On the adjustment by Vanderbilt, they did a dig down for the first time. Tshiebwe was caught off guard because Lawrence and others have left Malora Brown on an island all night long, but he surprises him with the dig. Tshiebwe picks the ball up, causes the turnover.
Yeah, Wallace for the trip, his third. And the folks in blue reacting to the replay in the house. Jordan Wright. Part of Jerry Stackhouse's first signing class. He is Stack's day one. First miss from the line for Vanderbilt tonight. 11 of 12.
Wallace has returned. I was surprised to see that. He's got the heart of a champion, though.
Reeves. And a foul inside, and Kentucky going back to the free throw line. It'll be another opportunity for Oscar Tshiebwe. They get Colin Smith for his second.
Is he not the greatest rebounder you've ever seen at this level? I mean, we take it for granted. And they've got two guys on Oscar Tshiebwe. Guys, they're not even looking at the ball. It's just, how can we push this guy off the block? And he's just sitting there. Man amongst boys says, all right, I know you guys are trying to do your job so you don't get yelled at, but I'm going to get this offensive rebound anyway.
The numbers are astounding. Came in 8th in school history at nearly 900 rebounds. He broke Shaq's 30-year-old Rupp Arena rebounding record when last year he hauled in 28 against Western Kentucky. But he misses the front end of a 1-on-1 for the second time under 3.5 minutes. Gore's content to burn some clock here. Reeves on Magnon. Magnon tried to split him, turned it over. Wallace to Livingston. Here's Reeves for 3. Got it. Four-point game, 2 minutes to play in Nashville. And Magnon fouled at midcourt by Reeves, his 4th.
Well, this is a really good play by Livingston. He has really grown up this season. He does not force a tough two, stays patient, gets in the lane under control, and says, you know what, I'm going to give up a good look for a better look. Reeves cashes it in.
I wonder if on a good leg, Wallace doesn't try to finish that one at the rim.
I think you're exactly right. He did a good job of penetrating to help his team, but couldn't quite attack like he normally does.
Magnon 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Both teams in the double bonus the rest of the way. Vandy's been knocking down its free throws. Kentucky, not so much.
The speed of these guards have really been a problem for Kentucky, particularly this guy at the line here. Not a household name to start conference play, but at the end of it, if you don't know him, you do now.
Wallace for 3. Tshiebwe over Malora Brown. And they're going to get Quentin Malora Brown for the foul.
I know it's hard, and nobody else has been able to do it. But if you got Tshiebwe behind you, it just can't stand or try to jump straight up and down. You got to try to make some contact to try to make it look like he's going over the top of you. That time he reached straight up and the arms got caught in the middle there. But you got to get low, and Malora Brown at 6'10", it's hard to get your butt down and get into Tshiebwe's legs.
Oscar 2 for 4 from the line.
Again, this is
walk me through, though, what exactly Quentin Malora Brown did wrong on that rebound opportunity from a foul perspective.
He's in front of Tshiebwe. Well, Tshiebwe goes over the top of him to get the ball, and then his arm just gets caught in between, almost like a shooter going up for a shot.
2 monster free throws for Tshiebwe. He had missed his previous 2. Kentucky pressing now, picking up 3/4. We got 90 seconds of play in regulation. Shot clock at 5. Tyron Lawrence. Shot clock at 2. Lawrence fading. Got it! 18 for Lawrence. The lead is 6 for Vandy. 1 minute left.
Yep, good call,
and an offensive foul on Tshiebwe.
Coach Calipari saying he was held first. He pushed him off to get him off of him.
Was it on Tshiebwe or Reeves?
No, it was on Reeves.
There it is, and that's his 5th.
I think that's the right call. Lawrence puts his arm on his back a little bit, but I think the harm was done by Reeves. He was getting frustrated at the denial. He wanted to set his man up to hit that screen, pushes off, and now your best scorer has fouled out. Your point guard is injured. Your backup point guard is not available.
Yeah.
I mean, and so Kentucky is going to have to pull off a magical last minute here.
And your best, in addition to all that, your best long distance threat. Reeves done, 22 points, 3 of 8 from deep.
A Vanderbilt team that has turned it over 11 times in this game, but they're not a team that beats themselves. They really take care of the basketball in the season. No more important time than now. Oh, there it is.
Offensive the other way. Jerry Stackhouse says, please take another look at this.
Well, this will be interesting if it could be a cylinder. And there's no contact.
Can they go flop if there's no contact?
And that's the old Chris Jones Louisville play. A flop that could be a Class B one shot in ball at point of interruption. This was back in the day again.
I got contact with the left elbow.
Yeah.
But then still trying to determine if it was a cylinder foul, giving the ball handler room to move, to make the move.
And it's not just about you being in a cylinder with your torso or your face. If your hand is in the cylinder, that counts as being in the cylinder by rule.
Jerry Stackhouse probably reminding his team that they still have 3 timeouts remaining if Kentucky goes on a run here, and we'll get an explanation on what the result is. Call on the full floor was a foul against Colin Smith.
Tom, and there was a ruled initially as a player control foul on Vanderbilt. After further review, it is a cylinder foul on the Kentucky Wildcats. Because that arm was in the cylinder, he can legally move his elbows to make a basketball play. Was not able to do so by rule, and so Vanderbilt will be able to have the ball. It should not be, they did not rule a flagrant. This should be the bonus situation.
Yeah, 2 free throws coming because they're in the double bonus.
It wasn't that Toppin's head was in there, it was the hand.
I thought John Calipari was close to getting teed up there. He told his team today, got to play desperate, you got to fight. Lead is 7. Kentucky had a 10-point lead. Less than 7 minutes into this game, up 14-4. John Calipari, Kentucky has won 328 games and only lost 13 in games where he's had a 10-point lead. Here's Toppin. Huge 3 for Jacob Toppin, and a quick timeout taken by Kentucky.
Miscommunication there by Vanderbilt, leaving Toppin open from 3. Great play call by John Calipari. Toppin, who's been shooting the ball with so much confidence, just going to come off this down screen, and Malora Brown's hanging out in the paint to kind of try to play safety. And Smith saying, hey, I need some help getting through that. But I think if you ask Coach Stackhouse, that's Smith that's got to stay attached to the shooter, not on Malora Brown.
Toppin's 5th 20-point game this season. Vandy has the ball up 5. Possession error belonged to Kentucky. Both teams in the double bonus. And Jerry Stackhouse with 3 timeouts to work with. These teams have seen some drama head to head. In fact, their last meeting came down to the buzzer at Rupp a week ago. Jordan Wright with the spin and the fade. And Vanderbilt with a rare win in Rupp Arena, and they're looking for their 2nd consecutive win against the Cats. Put a 10th of a second back on the clock. Vandy looking for the home run ball, not there. Thomas takes himself into a corner, and he turns it over. Toppin to the rack, and he's fouled.
Wow, the last place you want to dribble that ball is to the corner. Vanderbilt has the quicker team out there, and so you felt like they were going to get the ball in okay, but the big double team comes, and Trey Thomas, 5'11", 160, just gets smothered up there. And Toppin attacks the rim ferociously.
This can make it a 1-possession game. Jacob Toppin 3 of 4 from the free throw line.
Jerry Stackhouse waves Malora Brown back to the bench because he wants his smaller lineup here to break the press. Ideally, despite his turnovers tonight, you want to get Mignon the ball.
Costly. Missed them both. Right the rebound. Cats will trap, and they whistle to stop it with 34 seconds left. Free throws in the last 3 minutes not going Kentucky's way. Maybe the difference in the end.
10 of 18, and don't forget the missed front end of the 1-and-1. That one especially frustrating because it would have been a highlight reel play, but it looked like Toppin was on his way to an and-1 finish at the rim. Ball bounces off of the rim. You're thinking you might come away with 3, and you come away with 0 after that steal.
Cats 8 of 14 from the free throw line in the second half. And Jordan Wright knocks down his first. Vandy 16 of 17 from the line. Wright's got an 18-point night, 34 seconds left. Kentucky needs a miracle now. Wallace will fire. Didn't have anything else, and a foul on the rebound. 2 shots coming on this end, and it's C.J. Frederick who was fouled by Trey Thomas. Frederick has not missed a free throw in Tshiebwe going to the line. That is a huge difference. Toppin missed 2 a moment ago, and now Tshiebwe misses the first of 2. He also missed the front end of a 1-on-1 twice. Adutiero will enter for Kentucky after C.J. Frederick commits a foul on a made free throw.
It's real simple if you're Vanderbilt. Take care of the ball, be strong with it, make your free throws. And in my view, you solidify your spot on Selection Sunday.
Solidify and lock it up.
Lock it up. I think they should be in now. Let's remove all doubt. Beating Kentucky twice in a week's time if they can hang on here. This team has ice in their veins, and that clutch gene, when they started really believing that they could win any game, was that buzzer beater 3 against in-state rival Tennessee. Then they did it again against Auburn, and of course we saw it at Kentucky. And forget about a neutral site SEC tournament. This is as impressive as a road win to me if they can hang on.
First miss from the line from Magnon tonight. He has tied his season high with 25 points. Wallace. Here's Toppin. He can rise and fire, but left it short. Rebound to Vandy. Magnon racing away from everybody. He avoids the foul, and Vandy will run out the clock. The Vanderbilt Commodores may have just punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Their second straight win against Kentucky, and they will move on to our second semifinal tomorrow.
These guys have earned it the hard way. Clutch plays. No cupcakes on their schedule. They had one of the toughest SEC conference schedules of any team in the league. And with their season potentially on the line and their postseason hopes to be included on Selection Sunday, all they do is take over what's known as the Kentucky Invitational here in Nashville and take down the Kentucky Wildcats.
Alabama, Missouri to get it started. Vandy upsets Kentucky, and the Doors will get another date with Texas A&M. Vandy has won this thing twice, 1951 and 2012, the only years they made it to the finals. The superstar is a man who punches above his weight. He's Ezra Magnon, and he is with the Listen Land.
Ezra, you were just celebrating with your teammates. What does this one feel like?
Man, I don't even know. It's unexplainable. Thank you, Jesus. That's it. I mean, it's a great feeling. We worked real hard to get here. You know, it's been a fight. It's been a fight, but we got fighters, so we there. We here.
That's 25 points for you tonight. What was your mindset coming into this one?
Just be aggressive. My team trusted me to be aggressive. Yeah, it was just to go out there and create plays for myself or others. I got it going, so I continue to create plays for myself. A little bit too many turnovers for me, but, you know, going to the semifinals. So.
Ezra, congratulations. You're making it to the semifinals.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Tom, back to you.
As superstars rise to the top in the postseason, Ezra Magnon is becoming one right in front of our very